Greetings and welcome to this particular satellite reading. Essentially, we are doing a reading from the Order of the Twin Sun on the day of May 1st, 2022. This is a forecast for predictions of May. Now, with the approaching of Taurus season, already come into that energy, two Mahapurush or two high men come into play here. Two high humans come into play. Okay, one dealing with the energy of, as you can see here, five essential planets, one shadow planet in the energy of Taurus, moving into Gemini. Okay. And the second high man, or the second Mahapurush yoga, these are two different yogas, two different men, two different yogis, occurs here in the beginning of Mars in Pisces and moving into Aries energy. Okay, so we're moving from essentially the house of the 12, disillusionment, spirituality, the dream, and the infinite. Okay, moving into very solidified structures, or the end of a cycle into the new, into Aries here. Okay, so a lot of destructive force here, a lot of dissolution, a lot of isolation in terms of Jupiter, especially the great benefic being here in the center of all this energy in conjunct Venus. Okay, now this could bring about a very heightened expansion of the inner world. Okay, deep isolation, loneliness, if you will, the infinite sea of information, as well as the infinite sea of existence, of being accentuated by our actions in the dream world, by our actions that are abstract in nature. Okay, moving into what we value and how we can essentially learn and become the newborn, become the resurrected in the energy of Aries. Okay, this particular Mahapurush, the first one that I'm mentioning. Okay, I did mention this in first, the Taurus Mahapurush into Gemini. But this one in particular, with all this Piscean energy, is very strongly pointing to transformations that are still going to be realized in terms of our own realities. Okay, or the realities that we're bringing forward in parallel dimensions, in parallel existences, coming forward and sort of showing and exposing truths about what we can value, and how we can value this inner world, this inner quest for expansion of a spiritual force that comes out of isolation, that comes through deep sadhana and meditation. Okay, so it is advised for if you were to take the path and be influenced by this path, there is a lot of harmony here that can show you about much about the own inner world, how it is transforming, how it may be chaotic, but then in this chaos, there's something that we can come out to value, that we can learn from. Okay, so overall, there's a lot of harmony with latent transformation. Okay, of realities. Pluto and Capricorn energy here, and 28.35 degrees Capricorn in retrograde. Okay, that are essentially going to be accentuated by primarily the lessons, the gifts of Jupiter conjunct Venus. Okay, now with Jupiter conjunct Venus in such an exact conjunction on the day of May 1st, 2022, in Pisces, okay, there's something about this that allows for deep compassion to be a prevailing thing. A lot of humanitarian, compassionate, spiritual undertones here that encompass the needing to repair, especially in times of war and times of Mars here in the middle degrees of Pisces, times of actions that tend to serve the purpose of ending in some sort of way, ending lives, or ending some form of dream for another. It's a very sacrificial energy here, And through this sacrifice, with the great benefics in conjunction, okay, Jupiter and Venus, we can see a square to Lilith. Okay, the Great Mother is angry about what is going on in terms of times of disparity or strife in terms of the global condition. Okay, with Saturn being in Aquarius, there also is something about the desires that people have that may be childlike, that may be also stubborn in some sort of way, that needs to be mutable, that needs to be changeable. Okay, a lot of what is being created in reality in terms of the Aquarian age, okay, Saturn in Aquarius, 24 degrees, is being challenged by emotional undertones that are extremely informed by essentially Uranus and the dragon's head, the North Node. Okay, now with this, there arises challenges, okay, with a shifting reality, with Mother Earth, with the general climate of things. There's certainly something we can do in terms of non-action. Okay, non-action, that's Mars in Pisces, that's non-action. Because if you think about it, Pisces are essentially the two fish that swim in a circle, and with this energy, okay, there emerges the the general sort of fixity. Pisces is a mutable sign, but there's a shifting in the mutability to generate a sort of vortex or a circle, a center point, okay, of stillness, okay, of deep water. So in the meditations of mankind between two Mahapurushas, that is the Pancha Mahapurush, the high human in Pisces and Aries, okay, the beginning of a new cycle, also learning from a very still reality, okay, that is shifting, that is going through change, that is informed by extremely delusional emotional strifes, okay, chaos essentially. There's something about this that is coming to mind, okay, when it comes to particularly lessons we can learn in terms of our place within the progression of Saturn in Aquarius. Okay. Ultimately, what we can learn from this, especially in terms of karma, the South Node and the North Node, in the axis of Scorpio and Taurus, okay, is a lot of things coming to mind in terms of what we desire, what we want to drink from, which chalice, which cup we want to drink from. And a lot of it points to this Mahapurush, this high man or high human, in the stellium of Taurus energy. Okay, now the difference here is that one becomes very fixed. Like you may find yourself very fixed on certain desires that have to do with what you can hold on to, what you can attain, what you can enjoy. Okay, and there's a strong fixity here in that. A lot of the emotional undertones are chaotic, and they're informed by ego as well as the dragon's head. Okay, so it's really important to clear one's mind in order to find harmony with the actions in stillness. Okay, that is informed by the other half, the other Mahapurush. Okay, with Mars in Pisces energy. Okay. So the progression essentially is that if you go inward, there is essentially a dream or an abstraction of the values we can expand upon in a very deep focus as well as concentration in a center point, okay, that allows for deep mystical revelations about new cycles that are coming about, okay, new shifts that are coming about that may perturb or afflict essentially what is going on in terms of what we desire, what we want to embody in terms of our own ego identification, okay? That is strongly fixed to random changes, as well as emotional undertones that are informed by the reptilian mind, okay? That have to do with essentially insights or revelations of the student that is coming to be with the season of Gemini approaching thereafter, okay, in the coming months. Um, so it's quite challenging because we have this fixed energy versus a very mutable energy. If you find stillness in the chaos, in the abstraction, okay, then there is a possibility for reward, especially in terms of the great benefics, okay, that is Jupiter and Venus, in this energy of unconditional love, of purity, of compassion, of kindness for animals, of deep insights in terms of what is the real essence of reality, which is not so real after all. Okay, um, there is harmony to be had, especially in this stillness. Okay, as well as the propensity for uh, great dreams to occur during this time period, which should at least become a chalice or an extending hand for those who seek deep emotional or inner transformation, inner realization, or transformation of the inner self, okay, that is in dire straits, that needs a sense of stability. I don't know if there's a possibility to find that. Usually, with the season of Taurus, on the progression of the tropical zodiac, there is there's a certain degree of faith that occurs in taking the first step of the Fool and moving into either the Empress energy or something of that nature. Okay, and within that mystique, within that stillness, that sitting foundational stillness after faith, there's a lot of faith that can be brought about, that can be reforged in a mystical way. Okay, that will provide for whomever is listening a link or a choice to choose to be in stillness or to constantly be fixated on on the ego, as well as on the solar eclipse energy, um, that is very eminent. Okay, um, so eclipse season is here. There's a lot of incredible realizations and transformations that can occur, and if they do occur for you, make sure to find a sense of stillness in order to find and expand upon insights and gifts and teachings from Guru, from Venus, as well as Jupiter. Okay, um, and I do wish you well. Sorry for my tardiness. I have been traveling and working on a number of projects, and I'll upload a few videos for the tarot segment. Okay, the Great Mirror as well. Um, let's see. I want to leave you with one more insight, something that may be profound. Okay, so with two stelliums active, once again, the prominence here is Jupiter and Venus in conflict. Okay, um, they are not the best of friends, and with this may come an ending of a sort, or a point of self-destructive force that needs to be understood, that needs to be also expanded and eclipsed by the energy of Taurus. Okay, um, so with this, one has to search for heightened forms of information that come through the darker realm, okay, that come from primarily Venus, who is the head of the Asuras, who is the head of essentially counterculture, okay? And there are certain things that are occurring in terms of this that may have the key signature of secret societies or cultures that are counter, that are extremely exclusive in some sort of way. Um, so there is a hidden hand here that helps us to understand in this stillness essentially what kind of abstractions are being put forward in front of us, what kind of realms of illusion are coming forward from this, okay, this sort of energy. And it's important to embrace the darker light, Venus, to understand that she fluctuates quite intensely. If you think about the one of the key sort of archetypes of Persephone going into the underworld, that is essentially the rise and fall, or the fall and rise of Venus, okay, of Venusian energy, okay. So one has to go into the underworld to understand essentially what is limiting, what is constricting one's self in terms of the progress of transformational change that one needs to go through in order to find the gift and boon of Jupiter. So it's not an easy conjunction, this conjunction, tight conjunction between Venus and Jupiter. And it's important to find the stillness once again in order to understand how actions how even inaction or stagnation produces certain effects that are relatable to this agitated energy in Taurus. Okay, there's a lot of Taurians that may be out there that are extremely agitated in some way, shape, or form in terms of their own self-representation, and with this accentuation, okay, there's something about it that provides a very stubborn nature for most people concerned, all people, I would argue. There's this extremely stubborn resistance to changes that are ineffable, to mystical revelations that are ineffable, that are bound to come anyways for those who are concerned or not concerned. And essentially, this is pointing to a new cycle, a new leaf, okay? That is hopefully something we can talk about in the near future. Okay? That is the best I can do. I do thank you for your time, and cheers.